Hey, welcome. Today we are going on a pretty incredible journey, but we're not heading to some distant galaxy. Nope. We're exploring a hidden world that exists inside every single one of us, the gut microbiome. It's this whole universe of trillions of tiny organisms that are shaping our health in ways we're really only just beginning to wrap our heads around. So, you ready to meet your inner universe?
Okay, let's start with a number that is just mind-boggling. 10 to the 14th power. That is 100 trillion. To give you some perspective, that's way more than the number of stars in our entire galaxy. And this is the number of bacterial cells living inside your gut. They actually outnumber your own human cells by about 10 to 1. Wild, right?
And their power isn't just about their sheer numbers, it's in their genetics. Get this. The genes that are encoded by all these bacteria outnumber our own human genes by more than 100 times. Just let that sink in for a second. A massive chunk of our biological programming isn't actually human at all.
So what does all this mean for you, personally? Well, it means you're not just an individual. You are a walking, talking, living ecosystem, a superorganism made up of human parts and microbial parts, all working together in this incredibly delicate dance. So let's get properly introduced to the residents of this inner universe. Who are these tiny organisms exactly? What are they up to? And, what does a healthy community of them even look like? I want you to imagine a huge, bustling city with thousands of different types of residents. Now, while there are over 35,000 potential bacterial species that could live in the human gut, most of this inner universe is really run by two major groups, the firmicutes and the bacteroides. The balance between these two heavy hitters is actually a really key sign of how healthy your gut is. So scientists have kind of started classifying our gut ecosystems into two main types. On one hand, you've got a high gene count microbiome. You can think of this like a lush, thriving, diverse garden. It's resilient, it's full of beneficial bacteria, making all sorts of helpful stuff for you. But on the other hand, you can have a low gene count microbiome. This one is way less diverse, and it tends to have more pro-inflammatory bacteria. So think of it like a garden that's getting overrun by weeds. The goal here is pretty clear. You want a vibrant rainforest inside you, not a barren desert.
All right, so now that we've met the residents, what in the world are they actually doing in there? Because I can tell you, these microbes are not just hanging out for a free ride. They are active, absolutely essential partners with a very, very long to-do list. Just think of them as your personal 24/7 microbial task force. They are busy around the clock creating essential vitamins for you, training your immune system so it knows the difference between a friend and an enemy, and breaking down parts of food that our own bodies have no idea how to handle, all while fighting off harmful invaders and literally keeping the lining of your gut strong and healthy. They're basically your unsung heroes. Here is a perfect example of their incredible teamwork. Let's say you eat an apple. It's full of dietary fiber. Now, your own body's enzymes, they can't touch it. They can't break it down. But for your gut bacteria, it's a feast. They jump on that fiber, they ferment it, and in the process, they create these super powerful compounds called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs for short. And these SCFAs, they're like premium fuel for your gut cells, and they play a huge role in keeping inflammation under control. But what happens when this beautifully balanced internal ecosystem gets thrown into total chaos? Well, that brings us to the main conflict in our gut story, a condition that scientists call dysbiosis. Dysbiosis, to put it simply, is an imbalance. It's what happens when the good guys get pushed out and the potentially harmful or pro-inflammatory bacteria start to take over. It's just like that garden we talked about where the weeds start choking out all the beautiful flowers. And a shift like this, it can create ripple effects throughout your entire body. Now, the connection is probably clearest right there in the gut itself. A ton of research strongly links dysbiosis, having too many of certain microbes and not enough of others, to the chronic inflammation we see in conditions like Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. But the impact definitely doesn't stop there. Study after study shows that an unbalanced gut is also linked to metabolic problems. People with obesity and type 2 diabetes often have way less microbial diversity and a big drop in those really crucial butyrate-producing bacteria we just talked about. And its reach is truly systemic. The byproducts from a dysbiotic gut can actually get into your bloodstream, and from there contribute to the risk for things like cardiovascular disease. The makeup of your gut microbiome might even change how well you respond to certain cancer treatments. It's all connected.
Okay, after hearing all that, it is really easy to feel like we're just at the mercy of our microbes. But here is the most empowering part of this whole story. You are the head gardener of your inner ecosystem. You have a huge influence on who gets to live there. So how do you do it? How do you actually cultivate a healthy gut garden? How do you encourage all the good microbes to thrive and keep all those pesky weeds from taking over? Well, the answer, overwhelmingly, comes down to what you put on your plate. It really boils down to three key pillars. You want to feed, fertilize, and fortify. So first, you feed your best microbial buddies with dietary fiber. Second, you fertilize them with something called polyphenols. These are compounds in really colorful plant foods. And third, you fortify your ecosystem by adding new helpful live bacteria from fermented foods like yogurt or kimchi.
And if you're thinking this must be some slow, long-term project, check this out. This is one of the most powerful findings from all the research. The food choices you make today can literally start to shift your gut microbiome by tomorrow. Your power as the gardener is that immediate and that direct. All right, finally, let's take a quick look at where all this incredible science is headed. Because the future of gut health isn't about some one-size-fits-all diet plan. It's all about personalization.
What's becoming crystal clear from the research is that the single biggest factor that determines how you respond to a food or a probiotic is the unique community of microbes that you already have living inside you. My gut is different from your gut, and that difference is absolutely critical.
And this is leading us to a really exciting new frontier. I mean, imagine diets tailored specifically to you. If your gut is full of bacteria that just love barley, then your personalized plan would include it. But if you're lacking the microbes that process broccoli well, another green vegetable might be recommended instead. Probiotics are also evolving, moving beyond single strains to entire communities of bacteria designed to restore balance. And we're even seeing these incredible therapies like fecal microbiota transplants, where a healthy donor's microbiome is transferred to a patient, which are successfully treating serious infections by basically hitting the reset button on a person's entire gut ecosystem.
You know, we used to think of bacteria as the enemy, as something to be destroyed. Now we know they are essential partners in our health. And as we continue to decode this complex inner world, it just brings up this really profound question. Could carefully tending to this inner garden be one of the most important things you ever do for your long-term health?